So as I was making the developers update video, I kind of got to realize that I was going a little bit into detail into the Conduit system and by extension the Soulbinds system, because not many people knew exactly how it worked and what part it would have had in your daily activities in Shadowlands. And I started going on it, and I figured it would have been too long of a video if I started adding everything else and all the other systems introduced in Shadowlands. So I thought, why don't I just make another video where I go over the Covenant system, the Soulbind system, the Conduit system, and Renown. From the moment you get to max level and you get to choose your Covenant, what happens then, and from when you're all set up, after doing the introductory quests, what are you supposed and what are you expected to be doing every week to keep up all these systems that you don't quite know enough about right now. Let's go over what exactly are you going to be doing with these systems and how are you going to interact with these currencies. Let's start. Well, then the first thing you do once you get to max level is you get sent to Oribos to choose your Covenant. For some contrived reason, everyone loves you, you're saving everyone, but at the same time you must choose only one Covenant, not all of them at the same time. So you got to choose. You choose one in Oribos, you get to think again, think twice, think thrice, and then finally choose. And that's when your chain quest will start. I'm putting them out here for you if you're curious in some of them, checking them out on Wowhead. Don't get anxious at the fact that there is like 25 quests as part of your chain quest, because just about 70% of these quests are essentially a turning quest style thing. Look at this thing, turn in this thing, click on this conduit. Very, very simple. It takes little to no time. Now, if you have looked at all these chain quests for the different covenants, you have noticed there is a similarity. And that's the calling quest, which is the same for all 4 covenants. A calling in Revendreth or Ardenweald, Bastion or Maldraxxus. And then you have the other part, all listed in the Maw. The calling questline is going to be a very simple, complete 3 world quests, and once you're done, you will continue and you will be sent into the Maw. The Maw, you will get, guess what, the introductory questline from Venari for the Maw, and how the Maw works and what you're supposed to be doing in there. Once that questline is over, by the way, you will also be unlocking the Into Torghast questline to start you up with Torghast. And then you will be sent back to your Covenant to finish up this quest chain. The end part after the Maw is when you will be unlocking your Soulbind system. The Soulbind system is a mini talent tree system. It will host your conduits and it will be leveled up and increased in the numbers of rows you can use by Renown. Now let's go slowly here. Conduits. Conduits are looted from activities in the world, from world bosses to dungeon bosses to raid bosses to PvP, and they are based on the type of content and the difficulty of the content. Higher the difficulty in the content, the higher the item level. Once you loot a conduit, you can learn it in your Forge of Bonds, where you do your Soulbind tinkering, and it will be learned forever. The conduits can be increased in item level by an item sold by Venari in the Maw for Stygia. That is what you grind in the Maw, increasing the item level by 1 rank, from rank 1, which is the absolute lowest, to rank 7, which is the highest. Or you can simply loot a higher item level one and replace the older one. Conduits are not lost, obviously, when you slot them in your 3, and you can swap them in and out without losing them. They are permanent once you learn them. The levels on your Soulbind, from the first level that you unlock for free to the second level, which you also unlock for free, then you have the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th levels, which are going to be locked. These levels are going to be unlocked only by Renown. A little bit of drama. As of right now, these levels of Renown unlocking are going to be different based on the Covenant and the Soulbind you're choosing. Some Soulbinds, for example, Cleia from the Kyrian, can unlock the last potency conduit at level 28, whereas Draven from Ventir is going to unlock it at level 35. Conduits are divided in potency, finesse and endurance. Endurance being defensives and healing, finesse being utility and mobility effects, and potency being, your core rotation, your core abilities, empowerments. Once you get your Renown level to that max, you have the entire tree unlocked, and you can choose everything. When it comes to Renown, Renown is capped. Renown is not like AP from Legion, it's not like AP from BFA. You can get 2 Renown per week by doing 2 weekly quests. One is to get some anima, and one is to get some souls from the Maw. There is also a catch-up mechanism. The further you are in the expansion, the faster it's going to be to catch up with this Renown. This is going to be helpful for your alts as well as re-rolling later on in the expansion. Outside of that, Renown is going to be used to unlock mostly cosmetic stuff. You can unlock the following step of your campaign at rank 19, and then the last step at rank 21, and most of the other things in between are going to be things like your transmog set for your Covenant, increased levels of World Quest item level rewards, PvP item level rewards, upgrades in your Covenant system, etc, etc. The upgrades in your Covenant system that you will be able to have, and every Covenant has access to this, is going to be things like teleports to allow you to teleport in the zone much faster than if you were running or being on a mount, higher rewards from your mission table missions, as well as increasing and developing your Covenant-specific activity. For Akirian, for example, it would be the Path of Ascension, which is essentially a one-on-one duel minigame where you control a different character with different abilities and you get to fight around with that. Most of the rewards in your Covenant are going to be things like pets, toys, transmog, mounts, and a bunch of achievements. So once we have established that the Soulbinds system is simply the system that holds the conduits, and the conduit system is going to be expanded by getting your weekly renown cap, which is going to be very simple to obtain. Conduits can be improved by doing normal content, just of a harder difficulty, or by simply grinding DJ in the Mo. Now, what about after this? Well, what other things are there to do every day or every week? Well, you can be in the Mo. Venari, the just about only NPC you will be finding there that helps you, is going to give you some daily quests. Most of the daily quests are going to give reputation with Venari, and her rewards are going to be reputation locked. So the more you complete them, the faster you will be able to reach her rewards. You also have quite a few amount of Covenant specific quests and storylines, which will be admittedly dried out in a few hours of being max level. And the rest of the open world content is going to be limited by world quests, essentially, like in the good old days of BFA. As a twist, as a difference, there aren't really emissaries in Shadowlands. Your version of emissaries is going to be something called callings from your Covenant. They're going to work in a similar way to emissaries. There's going to be 3 of them, and they will have a 3-day cooldown, and you can store them for 3 days, and then when you complete them, you get new ones, and their rewards are always these caches of gear, anima, gold, souls, and similar other expansion-related currencies and rewards. Talking about souls and anima. Souls and anima is what is going to be needed to be upgrading your Covenant network. The souls can be found and captured in the Mo, and the anima can be found outside of the Mo, pretty much anywhere else. Killing rare bosses, finding caches, and most of their activities can give you anima. And that is pretty much it. I haven't mentioned something like island expeditions, war fronts, farming all of the world quests that give you AP because you have to get them all, reach a certain breakpoint so you can unlock the last ring of Azerite powers. Nothing. You do your couple of weekly quests to cap your renown for the week. You will probably at the start of the expansion have, the incentive of the exploration and the everything being new to grind some anima to improve your Covenant system, even though the Covenant system doesn't give you any powers, anything to improve your character. It's just utility, quality of life, and in some cases some story improvements, but nothing really mandatory. Your Mo progression is again tied exclusively if you want to grind for extra sockets on your gear, or if you want to improve your Conduit level. If you are a high key Mythic Plus player or a Mythic Raider, you will never need the Stygia, you will never need to grind the Mo to improve the level of your Conduits pretty much, and you might only want it for your sockets. If you ended up getting sockets from your gear anyways, randomly, then you basically don't even need the Mo. Beyond that, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want. There is nothing that is going to constrain you to log in every day or feel bad because you didn't log in and you didn't complete the activity that you were supposed to do to keep up with your power curve on that character. Or maybe you want to have 3 or 4 characters up and active at the same time, and it just becomes a slog after a while doing all of these activities. Just the idea every Wednesday having to do like 12 different island expeditions on all your characters, and having to do the Nazot invasions, 8 of them for 4 characters, and then all of the horrific visions on all the characters. Right now there is really none of it here. The weekly quests for Renowns are rather simple and straightforward. They took me like less than an hour to do once a week. And the other activity, which isn't open world, but it is still non-group content, is solo content, is Torghast. I made a video on Torghast already, and that is also going to take you less than an hour a week if you really don't want to be into Torghast. If you just want enough soul ash every week to take care of your legendaries, all you have to do is do a level 8 wing in Torghast and then another level 8 wing in Torghast. There is going to be 2 active every week out of a pool of 6, which is similar to how the Island expeditions rotate. So every week you have to go in, do the max floor, the floor number 8, get your max ash from that floor, 50, and then complete the other wing at level 8 for 50 ash, and you get your 100 ash weekly, which is the cap. And then you're set and done. It will take you quite a bit longer at the start of the expansion because you have to manually complete floor number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 before you can reach floor 8. But from the following week, you can re-enter the highest floor you have completed previously. So after clearing one wing up to level 8, you can always go back to level 8 without having to do the previous floors, which will be very fast and very quick and easy to get your ash that you want if you don't want to grind, if you don't want to spend too much time there. So this was the summarization of what you are expected to be doing at max level to keep up with your characters. Less than an hour a week to keep up with Torghast, less than an hour a week to keep up with Renown, and those are the only 2 sustained borrowed powers that will keep running in the background. The other system is going to be the Conduits, which is similar to Gear. And similar to Gear, keeping up with Conduits is just going to be as long and time consuming as you want to improve your character. The same you would have with Gear. Do you want to farm Mythic Plus for 10 hours a day? That's the same concept. So as I made my case before, this is a massively improved system over BFA and Legion. Not a lot of grinding, not a lot of boring repetitive content that you're forced to do if you want to keep up with your character power level, and very little RNG to frustrate you even more. Let me guys know what you think it looks like, because for me it's very nice. So see you guys soon, and in the meantime I am interviewing applicants for my new play.